Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Hardwood Nation podcast with your boy CL Anthony and my main man, Bryce Ward. What's going on, Bryce?
Glad to be back. How have you been? I had to miss a few weeks.
Yeah, it's been a couple of weeks, brother. You should be rested though, right?
Yeah, ready to go.
Shout out to Michael France for holding it down in your absence. And also, Bryce, we hit a milestone while you were away. So what we think is our first big milestone on YouTube. We haven't talked about the numbers a lot, but we actually hit our first 100 subscribers. We're actually at 109 as of yesterday. So we just want to say thank you to all our fans because we are growing this platform. So you guys are much appreciated.
Yeah. We love all you guys. We appreciate it. We want to keep growing and keep putting out, what's hopefully like some good, fun content. And yeah, shout out to Mike because every time he's on, it's just we have a good time, and he's able to fill in when I can't be here once in a while. And yeah, we really appreciate it.
So we got a couple of things to talk about this week, Bryce. We have a fun topic first, and then we're going to get into some stuff secondly. So, barring injury, and we've talked about this a couple of times, but this is his first time really addressing it. Barring injury, LeBron James is going to pass Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for the NBA's all-time scoring champion, I guess, champion, whatever, leader, however you want to put it. Hey, it's Sunday morning, we're tired. I will say I know Kareem has criticized LeBron in the past, but I will also say that Kareem has had sentiments that I've echoed here on the podcast. With that said, LeBron's not watching me or listening to me talk, but he for damn sure was listening to Kareem talk. So recently, LeBron was asked about, his upcoming passage of the record and if he has a relationship with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I particularly thought that it was a smug response by LeBron James. So we're going to play this little clip, and then we're going to get into it because I know, well, as you know, I like to give LeBron James hell on this podcast. So we're going to get into it real quick so that people can hear what we're going to talk about.
LeBron, with you having a chance to get the all-time scoring record this year, do you have any thoughts on Kareem? And also, if you have a relationship with him?
No thoughts. No relationship.
So, pretty cut and dry.
I like it. Straight into the point.
A low-key fuck you. That's pretty much what it was, a low-key fuck you. Now, this is coming off of 3 weeks ago when I was giving LeBron James high praise on this podcast, something I rarely do, but it was well-deserved at that time. Now I shift into my typical role of shitting on LeBron James because personally I didn't like it. I thought it was in bad taste. I thought he should be more tactful. I mean, there's ways to say that you don't fuck with somebody tactfully, in a nice way. I thought he should have went that route versus going this route, and then even the visuals with the glasses, with the sunglasses. It was just a bad visual for me. And it made me think about when Kevin Durant won that MVP and then he just flipped on everyone. Because that's the most blunt I've seen LeBron when he's addressing another player. Like, I've really never seen him dismiss a guy like that. So what were your takes on that clip?
Well, first off, we need to know, or we need context. So when LeBron puts on the shades, usually we get a slightly more edgier LeBron. He infamously had on the shades and getting ready before Golden State, right? Mm-hmm. So it's almost like he was like prepped for this question and he was ready to go with it. But I feel like had he just not had the sunglasses on, then maybe he wouldn't have been quite like that. But when you told me that like they don't really fuck with each other, and Kareem has kind of like I guess talked about how he's handled stuff in the past or called LeBron out about how he's handled stuff. I can definitely see a player, in this generation just blowing that off. Even a guy like LeBron, like I'm not saying I agree with it, but what I'm saying is like once you've been, I guess, kind of shunned by this superstar, it's like you have the support of all these other people. You probably do have a little bit of an attitude towards it, and you know, he probably looked up to certain players growing up. If he just didn't, if that just wasn't one of the guys, you know, he probably either not never cared about his opinion, or he, you know, had a change of heart when he heard how he felt about his choices and stuff. So it doesn't surprise me. I find it interesting because you know, LeBron James is a quote unquote goat talking, you know, about another goat, and he's like, no relationship, no comment, like straight to the point. He had like 5-6 words in there. It's like, no,
Right.
now, like, I would have been interested in this context right here, this conversation, like if they would have followed up and somehow asked him about Jordan as well, because we know that they're not exactly close either. So, like, I'd be interested to see right then when he's like, you know, kind of aggravated and his answer is short to the point. Like, I would like to see what he was going to say right there about a few other topics. But yeah, it was interesting, funny.
I think whatever animosity him and Jordan had, it was kind of squashed at this last All-Star game, because seeing those two embrace and smile, and it was more so for LeBron. I think that took a lot of pressure off of LeBron, where it seemed like Michael was finally accepting him, because Michael had a huge smile on his face when he held LeBron. So that was a good moment. As far as Kareem, I guess because Kareem has been a social activist for years now, he's not the most friendly person in the world. He wasn't the most media accessible when he was playing. A lot of people didn't understand his journey as he transformed from Lou Alcindor to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar once he found Islam. So he wasn't the most cheerful person in the world either. So it was just really weird to see someone kind of give Kareem that heat back that Kareem has given to people in the past. But it's like, damn it, LeBron. It's like, just show a little bit of humility. Just like, he was just straight to the fucking point. And that's what stood out to me. I thought it was hilarious. It's like, he's such a dick, but he was just so hilarious.
I liked it. I thought it was funny. It'd been funnier if he would have been like, no relationship, no comment. I'm gonna smash this record this year and never look back.
If he would have been like, I'm gonna smash this record, game one. Mm-hmm. He's 1,300 points away. I think he'll have it. For a decent player, you usually hit around 2,000 points a year or right up under it. So he might get that record around January. February, he might get it. Really quick. I know you're not a Laker fan, but Kareem is a Laker great. Do you think Laker fans will be okay with LeBron James breaking his record? Because kind of, sort of, a lot of Laker fans still don't fuck with LeBron. They really don't, because I guess they don't trust him. So, you know, he passed Kobe, he passed Magic with a couple of records, and now he's about to pass the biggest record of all time. And Kareem was a Laker for the majority of his career. So how do you think Laker fans are going to feel about that?
I think it's like a a mixed bag with LeBron, because it doesn't feel like he's a true Laker. But they can't really complain because they got a championship and he's this great player and he has spent some time. By the time he retires, he will have spent some time in Lakerland. So I think for like true Laker fans, they just don't see him as a Kobe, as a Kareem. You know, I just don't think they see him as a true Laker. Mm-hmm. I almost got the same sense. And you know, I could be wrong, but like not as intense. But I feel like Shaq was the same thing, because
a little bit,
yeah, because Shaq's his own entity, LeBron's his own entity. Like they go other places, they win with other teams. I think that's part of it as well. So I don't think it's gonna be just pure hate. Like, I think there'll be mixed feelings about it. But in terms of like Laker fans looking at LeBron as another true Laker, I think they don't. At least that's just the feeling I get. But I don't think they're going to be too upset. It's not like LeBron's not doing these things on the Lakers. He won a championship, and he's breaking the record as a Laker. Like, all of those things matter. Even if you're not the biggest LeBron James fan and you're a Lakers fan, you're just, you're a hardcore lifer. Yeah, it's undeniable what he's doing while he's there. You just don't have to like him. But I definitely think they look at him in a different light. But in terms of just pure hate or like being upset about it, it's hard for me to see too much of it when he's doing it in the gold and purple. So I don't think there's going to be too much craziness.
Got it. So, our main event for today. Draymond Green, 4-time NBA champion, going up against Jordan Poole, 1-time NBA champion. We're gonna break this down. We're gonna break this down into layers, and then we're gonna watch a video of it. Hopefully, TMZ doesn't strike us down with copyright. But goddamn it, we're gonna show it. All right. When you first heard that there was an altercation at practice between Draymond Green and Jordan Poole, what was your first thoughts?
Oh, pretty much that Draymond's known to be a bit of a hothead. I thought maybe Jordan Poole was feeling more confident in his position and what he did in the team. So maybe he's getting a little more chatty, and Draymond didn't like it. And that's what I figured happened. These things aren't rare to happen. The Heat have it happen a lot when you have guys like Draymond Green, Jimmy Butler, Russell Westbrook. And I'm not even saying Westbrook's known to be having altercations. I'm just saying when you have guys who are intense individuals and they expect the most out of people and they present the most of themselves, usually there's a lot of them that are hot-headed, and we know Draymond's a lot like that.
Yeah. My first reaction was I was shocked because it was those two. I wasn't shocked because it was teammates. Teammates fight all the time. So the fact that it was those two, because as I told you offline, Jordan Poole was Draymond Green's rookie a couple of years ago, and I've seen those two in interviews together talk about how much they like each other and jive with each other and things of that nature. That was the most shocking aspect to me. Then the second aspect was, okay, you guys are just coming off a championship. Like, what the fuck is going on, right? So, the Warriors did damage control, tried to sweep it under the rug. And then the very next day, the video dropped. So I'm going to ask you again. What was your first reaction to the video?
I was like in shock. I was like, oh my God. And then I immediately started thinking about interesting people for Draymond to box. I was thinking there's Jake Paul. He could get some credit back to the basketball community because Nate Robinson got murdered.
Right.
Okay. I was just like, because he hit him so fast and so hard and so perfect. Dude, I was blown away. Everybody got up because it dropped Jordan Poole. And it was, I couldn't believe it. Oh, Meta World Peace, him and Draymond, that'd be fun. Because those two remind me of each other. I mean, I just was blown away. I thought maybe, it looked violent. It looked very violent. And you watch the video, you watch the build-up, and Draymond gets closer and closer.
Yes.
And he has his arms down. He's just walking, and he gets closer. And then, you see Jordan Poole say something kind of, and, they're next to each other. And then Draymond just out of nowhere, dude, straight sticks him in the mouth, knocks him down.
I know by now everyone's seen the video, but we are going to play it here for the few people who haven't seen the video. I am going to play it because to me, it is absolutely fascinating. Now, there's no sound, but we just need to watch it. So here's Jordan Poole here, I believe. So let me go ahead and hit play. Yeah, this is Jordan Poole here. So
Draymond,
I wish there could have been sound so we could hear exactly what the back and forth was. But Draymond's rocking. He's holding his shorts. Poole's kind of rocking a little bit too, but he's looking off to the side. But here comes Draymond creeping over. It's like, young man, you have to know your surroundings. Now, Poole did push him first, and then
Yeah.
It was a thing. That was a punch throw. That was a thing of beauty.
Now
That was,
maybe it wouldn't have happened if Green did or Poole didn't shove him.
right. But a man has the right to defend his personal space too. So there's levels to this. It's multiple layers. Because if I get in your face, I'm pretty sure you might push me off, kind of hit me with an elbow or something like that, right?
Yeah, but then you can't. Then look, if you do that, you have to be ready to defend yourself for what happened right after.
Right. He shouldn't have dropped his hand. So what that tells me, and I know a little bit about Jordan Poole's background. I don't know how many scuffles he's been. I don't know how many scuffles he's been in. But I can tell Draymond Green's been in some scuffles because that was a beautiful right cross. You hear me? Absolutely beautiful. Now, YouTube, I know how y'all is. Sorry, the punch was beautiful. We don't condone violence on the Hardwood Nation podcast, but from an artistic standpoint, the punch was beautiful. Okay. Do you think the Golden State Warriors should suspend Draymond Green?
Yeah, I think they have to because the video got out. Maybe otherwise, you still. I still think you have to. You have to say something. Like you have to do something because you can't just let people punch other players. You can't.
Right.
Without some kind of consequence. Right. Let the guys deal with it themselves. Maybe even make it like a dumb little slap on the wrist. But you have to respond in some way if you're the team. I feel like you have to. So, but I mean, it blew me away. Like you can't. Draymond dropped the guy. I mean, you can't not suspend him at least a little bit. And the video leaking was like the worst thing for Draymond Green. I think they'll be all. I think they're gonna be okay. Maybe I don't know. Like disagreements and squabbles are one thing, but looking across and seeing like your center power forward smiling like in a game or something, and knowing that he knocked you out. I don't know if you can get back from getting knocked out. I don't know. Okay, I don't know like if he went out, but it dropped him.
He dropped him. Yeah.
He got knocked out. So like that's different. That like you might not be able to be friends or teammates after that. You might. Yeah, I mean you can for sure. It depends how Poole and Green deal with it. But your point guard and your center like are now not on the same page.
So I'm a little older. You have to protect the youngins. Okay. Now, I know sometimes the youngins can get out of hand, and sometimes you got to put your hands to them. I get it. Got to jack them up a little bit. But at the end of the day, you still have to protect the youngins. Now, there was a report that Jordan Poole was feeling himself a little bit and whatnot, winning the championship at such a young age, getting in line for a contract extension. Draymond himself said yesterday that wasn't the case. And some other Warriors actually stood up for Green. Stephen Curry and Iguodala said, yeah, that wasn't the case. Green has been exceptional. So, forgive me, Poole has been exceptional during training camp. But something happened. Now, yesterday, I sent you a couple of things. Draymond said he wasn't in a good place. He got in front of the cameras, and he absolutely owned it. Okay? Yeah. I will give you this quote from Draymond. He says, I want to give Jordan space. I didn't get much from Jordan. I didn't expect much. And I didn't try to get much. So he's pretty much saying for right now, he's going to leave the kid alone. Now, Draymond has said, okay, the Warriors formally haven't announced any suspension for Draymond Green. They said it's going to happen internally. Draymond said he's going to step away from the team for a few days. Let me be clear on this. Draymond Green is suspended. They're just doing damage control, and he's just owning what he did. So him saying that he's going to step away from the team for a few days is effectively him being suspended. So the Warriors are pretty much like, you did it, you go out there, you own it, and Draymond did that yesterday. Now, my next question for you. How angry would you be if you're the Warriors that this video leaked out?
Oh yeah, I mean, I'd be pretty annoyed because you definitely want to keep that stuff in house. Like, it's just it raises questions as to like how strong the organization is, obviously,
Right.
and it's probably not going to matter in the in the scheme of the season long term. It could, but the Warriors have a lot of good things going on over there from the management standpoint down to the players. So I do think they will handle it correctly. But yeah, I mean, if you're running the show or if you're a part of that team over there, you don't want things like this leaking out. Um, and it's probably a disappointment that someone as close to them,
Mhm.
that's in there with a practice like that someone in that situation leaked it. So that they're probably questioning some of the people they might have in there right now in terms of how much they can really trust them. But in terms of like the overall tone of the team, like I think they're going to be fine. I don't think any team wants those kind of things to leak out. You know what I mean? I'm sure they're more common than we know. For all we know, the Boston Celtics situation could have been that bad. We
Yeah.
just know that they had meetings.
Yeah.
So we don't know. But yeah, you don't want that. You don't want the video footage of two of your starters getting out fighting. If people hear about it, that's one thing. But seeing Draymond throw haymakers, knocking people out, that's seeing it is a very different thing.
That's a hell of a punch, man. That's a hell of a punch. I don't know. I don't talk about my dad often on this podcast, but my dad was an amateur boxer when he was younger. I gotta ask him if he saw that punch, man, because my dad probably would have loved that. My dad would have loved that punch. Last thing before we wrap up this week, both Poole, Draymond, and Andrew Wiggins are in line for extensions this offseason. I think it's time for the Warriors to start getting even more young than they are now because they do have some young pieces there. Even before this incident, I think it's time for them to move on from Draymond Green. What do you think? Because they will not be able to pay everyone. Like they're way over tax payroll at this
I
point.
think they're going to try first and foremost to try to have a conversation with Draymond. It might be time for more deals to be worked out because Draymond has to ask himself, one, what kind of value does he have outside the Warriors? And the Warriors have to ask themselves truly how important Draymond is to them. Because I don't believe Wiggins or Poole, what they bring to the table, replaces what Draymond was. I think there's very few people that can come in and just be what he was and work in that system. Because I feel like a lot of their success is Draymond being the right like other piece of that triangle, like in a sense. So you have Steph and Clay who are generational at doing what they do. Some of the best 3-point shooters, if not the two best 3-point shooters we may have ever seen. But then you have a guy like Draymond who does everything else that they need. It's almost like a Dennis Rodman with the Bulls situation, and in a way, it's like the Bulls were going to be successful, but then they were successful, obviously. But then they came in, they had a guy just come in and do his role perfectly, and that's what I mean by it. So like Draymond has his role perfectly down in Golden State with the team around him, but can he be as useful in other teams and other situations? And can Golden State replace him and still run things the way they're used to running it? I would argue this like replacing Draymond on Golden State would be harder than replacing Kevin Durant because they've played so long a specific way. You could almost bring in another player and have them score the way Durant scored, and that'd be easier than replacing everything else that Draymond Green does and knowing their role. It's like he's always known he's important there, but he knows he's not a scorer. He knows he's not the biggest guy on the court. Like it's all hustle and it's all heart and it's all buying into the program. So it's like but can he have value someplace else that may not know how to, may not use him the right way, may not have the pieces around him to use him the right way. So if he's not careful, I could see him not being in the league all that long if he's not in Golden State.
Right.
And also, Golden State could undervalue him in a sense to where they think they're going to be okay without him, and they very well could be. And, you always want to go younger, but, like, how much does he bring to that team in terms of, like, swagger, team continuity, keeping people, holding people accountable? Like, kind of like the Marcus Smart of that team. It's like we talked about Boston. If they get rid of Marcus Smart, what will that do to the overall continuity and tone of that team? And Draymond carries with him a lot on that team. So I'd be worried about both if they part ways.
Yeah. I do see one landing spot for Draymond. The money might not be right because I'm not sure if they're capped out or not. But let's just say Philly flames out this year. PJ Tucker retires. Draymond could slide right into that role and play alongside of Embiid. So yeah, I could see Philly, but that's literally maybe Miami, but we're capped out. So I don't think he'll come there on a vet minimum contract. But Philly, I could definitely see, and that's like Philly is like the best fit I see for Draymond, and maybe Memphis, but outside of that, all those teams are capped out, so they couldn't give him a big contract. So you're right, Draymond Green could find himself out of the league if the Golden State Warriors decide to move on, which I think they might. So,
or like you said, he's just gonna have to take a vet minimum.
Yeah. So we're gonna wrap up this week's episode of the Hardwood Nation podcast. Please like, share, and subscribe our content. Again, thank you to all our subscribers as we continue to grow and bring you guys the best NBA news that we can bring. Like all of our videos. If you love the NBA or even if you hate us, we don't care. Just give us likes. We enjoy it. Thank you guys. We are out.